Today we are going to revise first chapter of Pathoma Ist, growth, adaptation, cellular injury, and cell death. So first of all, what are the basic principles? So whenever there is a change in the external environment, body maintains itself according to the environment so that there is a balance between the environmental changes and the bodily changes. So this is called a homeostasis. So first of all, we are going to read hyperplasia. Hyperplasia means increase in the number of cells, while hypertrophy means increase in the size of the organ. So both can occur together except permanent tissues. So increase in the organ size is hypertrophy, and the organ cell number, if it's increased, this is called hyperplasia. So hypertrophy involves genetic activation, protein synthesis, and production of organelles, while the hyperplasia is the new cell formation from stem cells. So example of such organ in which hyperplasia and hypertrophy can occur together is uterus during the pregnancy. Permanent tissues include cardiac muscles and skeletal muscles and nerves. So remember that in the permanent tissue there is only hypertrophy. There is no hyperplasia. For example, cardiac myocyte undergo hypertrophy only. So whenever there is a systemic hypertension. While pathological hyperplasia, example include endometrial hyperplasia, can progress to dysplasia, can progress to cancer as well. If there is abnormality that is for a prolonged period of time, it can change into cancer. But there is one exception, that is BPH, which cannot proceed towards cancer. How much, it doesn't matter how much you apply stress on that. It can't change to prostatic cancer. Next type is atrophy. Atrophy means absence of cells, like decrease in the cell, decrease in organ size is called atrophy. So why this decrease occur? This decrease can occur because of any kind of hormonal stimulation. If it is decreased, if the body is disused for a prolonged period of time, that can lead to nutrient and blood supply deficiency to that organ. For example, if you don't move your limbs for a prolonged period of time, it can lead to muscle atrophy, and it can result in the size and the number both are decreased in atrophy, in the case of atrophy. So how the number of the cells is going to be decreased is by the process of apoptosis, while in the case of size is decreased because of ubiquitin proteasome degradation process of the cytoskeleton and can be because of autophagy. So how this ubiquitin proteasome degradation works? So first of all, intermediate filaments of cytoskeleton is tagged with the ubiquitin protein. So this tag protein is then again attacked by proteasomes that degrade those cells and can result in the decrease in the number and the size of cells. And the second process is autophagy. In the autophagic vesicles are produced. They then fuse with the lysosome. Lysosomes contain hydrolytic enzymes. As a result, they can cause breakdown of the cellular components. So this is the process how atrophy is going to work. Next, we have metaplasia. Metaplasia means change in the cell type. For example, if there is a surface epithelium of a particular epithelium, it can change to some other kind of epithelium whenever the stress is applied. For example, simple squamous epithelium can change into columnar or urothelial epithelium whenever the stress is applied, and this is a reversible process. When stress is removed, it can come back to its original form. So it's better able. So the main aim is of the metaplasia is to better able to handle the new stress. For example, classic example is Barrett esophagus. So in the Barrett esophagus, what happens normally? Due to acid reflux, non-keratinized normal epithelium can change into non-ciliated mucin-producing columnar epithelium due to stress. And then we have another cause of metaplasia. Metaplasia can occur because of reprogramming of stem cells. They can produce new type of cell. This is a completely reversible process. When the stress is removed, you can have the normal cell. And the third cause and the next cause of metaplasia is persistent stress that can lead to the dysplasia and cancer. For example, Barrett esophagus can proceed towards adenocarcinoma of esophagus. So exception. Remember that there is one exception in which apocrine metaplasia of the breast carries no risk of cancer development. Then the next important cause of metaplasia is vitamin A deficiency. How? Vitamin A is normally involved in the differentiation of specialized epithelial surface, for example, conjunctiva covering the eye. So if the vitamin A is not present, there is no differentiation. That can lead to the thin squamous lining of conjunctiva undergo metaplasia, for example, stratified keratinizing squamous epithelium. And this process is called keratomalcia, in which vitamin A deficiency can lead to stratified keratinizing squamous epithelium metaplasia. It can lead to the night blindness and immune deficiency in the patients. And the next type of metaplasia is mesenchymal connective tissue metaplasia. Classic example is myositis ossificans, in which the connective tissue within the muscle can change to the bone during healing after trauma. And remember that in the APL there is a vitamin A deficiency. APL is acute promyelocytic leukemia that occurs in the 50 to 70%. There is a translocation defect. Next type is dysplasia. Dysplasia is basically disordered cellular growth. Most often refers to the proliferation of the precancerous cells, for example, cervical intraepithelial neoplasia of cervix, and it can cause cancer, arise from the long-standing pathological hyperplasia or metaplasia. Reversible process, elevation of inciting stress can lead to normal development. If the stress persists for a prolonged period of time, dysplasia can progress to carcinoma, which can be irreversible. So it's both. Dysplasia is both reversible and irreversible. It depends upon how much stress has been applied, how much disordered cellular growth has occurred. Next is the aplasia and hypoplasia. A means absence, failure to produce cells during embryogenesis, for example, unilateral renal agenesis. And hypoplasia is decreased in the number of production of cells during embryogenesis. For example, small organ can develop, for example, streak ovary and Turner syndrome. So these are two pictures. This is showing left ventricular hypertrophy and this is showing the Barrett esophagus.